Hey. If the world feels too loud today, if the noise outside keeps drowning out the voice inside you, then maybe this is your gentle reminder: you're still allowed to be yourself. Quietly. Softly. Truly. Sometimes, life pushes us into roles that don't quite fit. We smile when we don't feel like it. We agree when something deep down says no. We stay silent just to keep the peace. And over time, we lose the sound of our own truth. Not because we wanted to, but because the world told us, directly or silently, that our truth didn't matter as much, that being liked was more important than being real. That being accepted meant being less of ourselves. But even if you've gone quiet, even if you've dimmed your light just to blend in, I want you to know, your voice is still there. It hasn't disappeared. It's just waiting. For the moment you choose to come back to it. To come back to you. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to speak perfectly. You just need to start listening to yourself. The world can be loud. But within you, there's a quiet space no one can take away. It's where your real thoughts live, where your gentle truths breathe, and where your voice begins, again. Sometimes, we forget what our voice even sounds like. Because we've spent so long editing ourselves for others. We shrink our thoughts so they won't be too much. We silence our feelings so we won't cause trouble. We adjust, adapt, and accommodate, until one day, we barely recognize who we are anymore. But the beautiful thing is, no matter how far you've drifted from yourself, you can always return. You can return to your values, the ones that bring you peace, not performance. You can return to your truth, even if your voice trembles when you speak it. You can return to the simple, quiet knowing that you matter, even when the world tells you to stay small. Your voice doesn't have to sound like anyone else's. It doesn't have to be powerful, polished, or popular. It just has to be yours. There is strength in softness. There is courage in vulnerability. And there is deep, quiet power in choosing to show up as your whole self, even when the world isn't asking for it. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't have to explain your silence. But you can begin, if you choose, to speak again. Gently. Slowly. From the heart, you can say, I'm still learning how to speak. I'm still finding my way back to myself. I'm still worthy of being heard. And you are. Always. You know. No one else in this world has the same voice as you. No one else has lived through what you've lived through. No one else sees the world through your exact lens. And that's what makes you valuable. Even if you're not great at public speaking. Even if you find it hard to express your feelings clearly. Even if you feel like you're not as interesting or inspiring as others. You still have something real, something unique, something worth being heard. Because your voice isn't just sound. Your voice is a touch. It's presence. It's your heart beating, feeling, living, wanting to connect. If you've ever been ignored. If you've ever been mocked, or made to feel like you're not good enough to speak up. I hope you know, that was hurt. Not truth. That was experience. Not your identity. You were not born to stay silent. You were born with a voice. Not to overpower others, but to gently reach the ones who need to hear you, exactly as you are. There are people out there waiting to hear your story. Waiting for someone soft, honest, imperfect, but real. And maybe, they're feeling just as lost as you once did. Your voice could be the only light in someone's darkest day. You may never know it, but your presence might save someone. So if you're learning how to express what you feel, go slow. There's no rush. You can start by writing down your thoughts, speaking to yourself in the mirror, or whispering to someone you trust. You don't need thousands of people listening. You just need to listen to yourself first. Because when you truly listen to your own heart, every word you speak afterward, no matter how quiet, will carry weight. And someday, you'll realize, your voice was never lost. It was simply waiting. For the right place to be heard, the right soul to understand, and the right moment to reach someone's heart. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. In a noisy world, it's an act of courage to slow down, to listen, and to believe in yourself. If today you feel small, please remember, you don't need to be loud to matter. You don't need to be right all the time to be heard. You only need to be you. Honest. Gentle. Patient. And no matter how loud the world becomes, your voice still matters. Because your voice is the path that leads you back to yourself. If this video touched you in any way, I'm deeply grateful. Feel free to leave a comment about what you're discovering within yourself. And if you'd like me to create a video on something specific, just let me know. I'll be listening. Just like you've listened to yourself today. Don't forget to follow You Are Loved. So whenever you feel lost, you'll always have a place to come home to. And remember this, you are always worthy of being heard.